Telegraph now, Leo. Nigel Farage paid £144,000 to a vetting firm that let him down. Gross.
So
number joke. 144.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are all your references from 1923? Anyway,
I've checked that one on the abacus and it works.
So Farage threatens a reform vetting firm with legal action. Not a reform vetting firm, the vetting firm that did the vetting for reform, or didn't do it, apparently. Reform signed a contract with vetting.com in April and paid it £144,000, which is how many farthings? To weed out parliamentary candidates with extremist views. So they'd seen what had happened to the Green Party, and they wanted to make sure they didn't get any candidates being like,
they must not shout Heil Hitler when they win.
So the contract said vetting.com would carry out social media checks on named individuals, but Reform has been hit by a series of disclosures about candidates, including one who described Hitler as brilliant at using personality traits to inspire people to action. And this is the thing, a lot of the exposés of the Reform candidates, it's like a social media post from like 12 years ago that was sort of making you can see the point they're making, but if you cherry pick certain letters and rearrange them in a different way, you can make him sound like a Nazi.
There was a book called The Dark Charisma of Adolf Hitler, written by, I think I'm going to say Lawrence Rees, who is definitely is a Jewish historian, and he wrote a book about the Holocaust and so on. He's not approving of it. But it is called The Dark Charisma of Adolf Hitler. And then somebody else quoted from that and said, I think we can learn something from this book, guys, and was on his LinkedIn thing and was immediately sacked and everything. It's very, you can understand why it's a third rail to even mention Adolf Hitler as, in any sort of learning.
Hang on, guys, let's not judge this guy too harshly. It's an odd phrase.
So the company's co-owned by Colin Bloom, who's linked to the Conservative Party. He's been an advisor for the Conservative Party before, so I'm going to guess there's questions. Were they stitched up? Or was this vetting firm just a little bit lazy? Or were they not expecting people to dig back 12 years in, social media posts?
I don't know, 144,000, 12 years, it's all falling into place.
That's the beautiful mind over there. It's spotted the patterns.
Mighty ready reckoner is twitching. I do feel that is a significant sum of money to just kind of, you know what I mean?
I mean, for about $5,000, I would have Googled their names and the word Hitler and see what comes up and solved all of this. It's not that tricky. But the spinning it as kind of, we're the victims of some big scam. You're the victims of incompetence and you've overpaid for it, instead of making it look like there's some big conspiracy to somehow leave us with all of these people standing who are a bit dodgy. The big question is, why have you got that many dodgy people standing for your party? What other people were dead? Do your checks.
They're not that dodgy. I mean,
the guy said, actually, maybe we shouldn't have gone to war with Hitler. We should have appeased him some more.
We had that conversation on here, and I find it depends exactly the tone of voice in which he said it. But as I say, that was a debate that was had in the House of Commons, and we were seconds away from having Lord Halifax as Prime Minister, who would have done precisely that. There was a long pause, which is recounted in several history books, when everything hung in the balance, and then Churchill decided he would take it on.
They didn't have the benefit of hindsight during that debate, though.
No, it was in 1941. This was not in 1936 or something. This is not appeasement. This is after the catastrophe of Dunkirk and the war in Norway. Battle of Norway. This was it was quite obvious what had happened. The Greater Germany had been established at that point.
I'm still thinking...
And the front with Russia was, if not open, then certainly they were starting to unroll the shutters.
But in 2024, if you're the Reform Party, do you want these people standing for you? It turns out no, because if the checking people would have checked, they would have got rid of them.
But I think what we really need to do is change our culture from one in which social media posts are dug up from 12 years ago and misinterpreted to make people look bad.
Very hard to do that. You'd pay a lot more than 144 grand to change the culture.